Hi, it's good to be here. It has been I guess I'll hit the speaker a little bit closer, or the microphone a little bit closer. Where to start? Well, I'll be honest, that move, as I've said, if you follow me on any social media, has literally taken over my life. Like, everything that I was doing at the house, like our trailer, no longer happening here. But it's official. I'm out of my trailer and I'm into my mom's. My room is almost done, and then I'm going to do like a little mini room tour. I just want to decorate because I never decorated the trailer, so I'd like to decorate in here, especially because I have one room that's mine, and it's pretty mopey in this house. That's just depression-filled house. Nobody cares about making it light and bright or anything like that. Yes, I'm using my husband's dad cup. But we're here. We made it through. Definitely had some adjusting errors, which was expected, but I just haven't felt. My siblings have a way of getting underneath my skin, as does my mother, and like probably anyone on this earth that is in my situation. And it's just hard to keep the boundaries that I've done, hard to remember anything that I've learned, to de-escalate myself, not allow myself to feel these feelings. And to be quite honest with you, there was a rule-making process that was kind of going on, and I think I touched based on the last time I did a weekly update, which I will be doing better on here. And I'm trying to do a daily vlog on my TikTok that's like 10 minutes long of just me kind of like talking about what I'm currently working on, currently going on, not like current events, just like what's going on with me kind of thing. And then this will actually be like, the detailed stuff. But since it's been about a month, I suppose I have a lot of things to catch up on. But it really wasn't all that fancy. Honestly, it was miserable the first few weeks. And but to get back on the rule, I guess, conversation, it was between my siblings, my mom, and myself. And we all don't communicate well at all. 3 of the 4 of us do not get mental health care, and we all need it. 2 of them maybe semi-aware of their shit, but they do nothing about it. And the 3rd doesn't seem very aware at all. Perfect, if you will. But, we all grew up in the same home. We all have our own shit. If I'm capable of healing, as is everyone else, it's not a judgment towards them. It's just a reality. It's the truth. I'm a pretty ugly person to my siblings and my mom. I have no control of myself, and I have a very hard time remembering my tools with any of these people, including my dad when he was still living. He just happens to not be living. Especially because these people have never changed their views on me, which is also the hardest part. I still mess up. I'm not very good financially. I still have to ask my mom for money. Obviously, look at my situation. I don't have enough money to afford things on the market. I'm well aware that, it's a hard market, whatever. Essentially, you just need to figure out how to buy your own house, and that's what we're trying to do. But coming back to a place that almost haunts me. Not really, but almost haunts me. I've never dealt with physical abuse, but I have bipolar. And essentially how the borderline kind of came about was nobody knew how to deal with me. I feel like my parents were older. They were in their early 30s when I was born. Kind of at a place where, like, at that point, they just definitely did not have the mental ability to be able to withstand someone so outrageous, I guess. I don't know how to put it. I'm convinced that I do have some form of ADHD. I definitely had childhood ADHD, no doubt. I don't know if it's just not so bad because of masking for so long and never getting dealt with. I don't know. But on that end, my parents did the best they could. They were very advocating for me for school, and I never took medication. I never went to like therapy or things like that. But I will say, like, my attention, they were pretty lax on and understanding for the most part. But it was really when I started getting into puberty and my bipolar really started to show, and I'm very emotional, very sensitive, and I'm a Pisces bitch. So having this on top of that, just buy it. if you believe in that. I'm very emotional, okay? I'm a highly sensitive person, and I'm very empathetic, so I take a lot of people's pain. I want to fix them because I'm a people pleaser. My family had no idea how to deal with me, so it essentially led to my borderline, which obviously made everything that I was already feeling 100 million times worse, especially in puberty, and it made friendships really hard until I became aware of things. My relationship has gone through so many ringers because of it. And the only thing I can confidently say that these people actually view me always nice in a nice light is my being a mom. They don't really acknowledge my relationship, don't really acknowledge my friendships. I guess my middle sibling does, but for the friendships. But no one really else does, besides my mom. Relationship, no. We watched our parents' relationship, and so whatever. And Josh and I have had some really hard times in our relationship. I've gone over some things. We've gotten physical. We've had terrible fights. Our first 5 years of our relationship was on and off miserable. Like, it was not a good time. And honestly, I don't even know how we stuck it out. It was like, that's what I say all the time. Like, we really are meant to be together, because if not, there's no way we would have stayed together. And it's luckily not anymore, nor was it really ever staying because we felt like we had to stay and we had nowhere else to go. And that we were kind of forced to stay in this situation. It was really, truly, every time we came back from something, it was, we really love each other. What can we do to fix this? And we both come from not great families, especially when it came to our own issues, and nobody helped us growing up. Like, we had to figure it out ourselves. We had to figure out what was going on with us. We had to figure out to get help. And didn't do that until we were 5 years deep into a relationship, and 4 years deep into having a kid. And luckily, things have still roller coasters since then, but have gotten so much better. We definitely still have our moments, and we are definitely back in therapy. But either way, like, we've both, I'll just speak for myself, since this is about myself. I've come very far, very, very far. I stop a lot of behaviors. I'm not quick to react. I'm not quick to do other things, especially with strangers and friends and people out and about, which was a really hard problem with me with everybody. But these guys are the ones that's kind of my last leg. And anybody that understands a healing journey, especially family trauma, you understand that that's extremely normal. Of course, the one person I've truly dealt with it and accepted is my dad, and he's passed, which is probably why I've dealt with it. I've come pretty close with my mom, but there's still a lot of things to work with. It's hard when they are still alive. There's a lot of what ifs that you have going on in your mind, but my siblings are some people that I did not really realize took such a part in certain things growing up, and still to this day, that not only have a hold on me, but also had their own traumas caused. And again, I've stated this in another TikTok. I am so aware of how much trauma that I have put the two of them through. And I am not saying that it's not roles reversed. We've all done it to each other. They're just very close in age, and I've always been close, and that hinders it a lot for me. And them, not seeing my change, not seeing myself also is really hard for me to go through. And I feel like they're not as aware of my mom's part, or they're at least not out and open about it as I am, and direct to my parent as well. Let's just be clear. I'm very direct to everybody. It's not like I come on this YouTube video and talk shit. I say it all to them as well. Honestly, if you know me, you'll know. But yeah, I very much, until probably a week ago, felt like I just wanted the tallies to stop. I've distanced myself. I don't have a relationship with them anymore. I have done so much to try to figure out how to get these tallies to stop, whatever, and it just never stops. And ultimately, as crazy as it sounds, hearing it from my own mother, I had a conversation being like, I just can't do this anymore. I need to go. Like, I cannot be here. I can't do this. I'm so sick of tallies. Like, I feel like I'm walking on eggshells. I can't do anything right. And I have stated before, my oldest sister lives here with her husband, and she's been here for about 4 years. So she was able to really settle in here, kind of make her way here. Dad has been passed. She's probably been here longer than 4 years now that I say that. My dad has been passed for, will be 5 years this October. So she's probably been here for like 6 years. Because it was like about a year before my dad passed. Within the year before my dad passed. That's, yeah. So, wow. But anyways, very much, especially after he passed and things kind of settled down with them here, made this house hers. You know, my parents have never really super cared how a house looked, never really cared about decorations, at least not in my age that I can remember. So they don't really do much. They go to work, come home. My mom doesn't do much, goes to work, comes home. Maybe does some extra things during the week, but very rare. So she was really able to make this like her own place. In her eyes, it is her own place. She's never left. That's a discussion for another day. But essentially came here for the same reason I did. And hasn't left on their own accord. And also, in my opinion, knows how difficult it is to survive in the world and doesn't feel that they can due to their relationship and what goes on with them. All fine and dandy. If that works for you guys, that's great. They don't have any kids either. I was between a rock and a hard place. It was either a motel or here. I sent millions of applications for houses. Never got accepted to anyone. They ended our lease, not to evict us. They ended our lease. And they gave us like a true 90-day thing. So yes, we could have squatted, but ultimately, if we went to court, they would have been like, you need to get out. You have, 30 days, 90 days, whatever. So it wasn't worth that. We didn't want to go there. So we just came here. We had no choice. We almost had one place, but they ghosted us. So ultimately what we decided is that if we couldn't get an apartment, because our long-term plan in the trailer was to stay there until we were able to have good enough money to purchase our own place. So now we have to do that here. So the end time is non-existent. But as much as the troubles come, I have to put my priorities first. And my priority is to give my children, especially my oldest, a stable home. He's lived in tons of rentals, probably 5 to 6 rentals in his lifetime. And I know he is very resilient. He comes back from things. As long as we've prepped, he does better. We always make his room a priority. He's always a priority, but he deserves a stable home. He has big plans for when we own our own house with animals and things, and there's nothing more in this world that I want to do than give it to him. Getting a little sad thinking of that. But like I said, I've never been good with money. Never had anyone teach me. My parents were never good with money. And sadly, that is not an easy thing for me to heal and deal with. So this is the smartest thing we can do. It really is. And my husband and I both come to terms with that. But due to my sister living here, her thinking that this is specifically only her home, having her OCD and all of this, it was like walking on eggshells. I am not a person that's like, my house looks like nobody lives here at all. I'm like a one-time cleaner of the day, and that's it. Do the best I can with everything else, especially with the twins and kids. I make a priority of hanging out with them above anything else. Obviously, I don't live in filth, but I definitely don't make it a priority. How about that? It's a lower priority. And because of this, coming into this, I felt like I had to switch it, but then it was making me miserable because I wasn't, I was constantly doing things, never having time to do my own things on my phone, never having, a break between setting up my room, moving everything from the move and all the stuff. It was just a horrendous 3 weeks. I can't even lie to you. Horrendous last 3 weeks of May. And then I just had this, that's what led me to that. It's like, it's always a tally with her. There's always a tally. I'm just so sick of it, blah, blah, blah. And, come to find out, my mom's had to deal with a lot of the same things that I'm going through currently because of her and the way she is. And it's finally just, if they want it done in a certain way, they can do it themselves. I'm not getting in trouble with my mom, which ultimately is what matters the most. And I know my place with her, and that's what matters. And the tallies are 1000% me. As much as I'm not trying to outwardly be like, oh, look at me, I'm so good, like me for me, it's just I want the tallies to stop. I still want their approval because I don't want the Taylors anymore. So I still want that. And as a person that bare minimally for the last 12 years, I have never had my siblings say something nice to me. Never. Besides motherhood. Maybe that, honestly, I don't even think people in this family don't even be like, oh, I like your hair. Oh, I like your outfit. It's like, I'm the one that does that. I don't, maybe my middle sister a little bit more, but. So why do I think that's suddenly going to change? It's not. It literally won't. I can't make it change. I can't do anything about it. All I can do is do what I need to do for myself and for who I care about. And that really just kind of jump started me to really be like, oh yeah. And I got way more relaxed. And again, I respect that I live in another person's house. I respect this is technically, a 3-family home. My mom, my sister and her husband, and then our family. I respect that we're barging in on my sibling and what they go through, on a day-to-day basis, having to change as well. But I just have got to be able to still do what I'm trying to do in order to be able to, one, get out of here faster, and two, to not lose my mind and not get to that point. And that was the hard part, is I'm not used to being very sad, which is why postpartum was like so hard for me. Is I haven't been truly depressed sad in a long time. It's been anger. Everything's been stemming from anger, which, yes, I know a lot of it's sadness, anxiety. There's so many emotions why anger starts, and anger is just an easy thing for me to clip onto versus sadness. Basically, when Josh and I, after that 4-year mark or 5-year mark of like really, changing and everything, that's kind of when my sadness, I wouldn't say go away, but I really worked on that first, is dealing with these sad feelings. Like not wanting to be here, wanting to harm myself. Those were 2 things that I've done and want to continue to do. And they were brought up in the last few months, specifically over this rule thing from, my middle sibling, which is a third party. They are not here. They're only hearing one side. They're only hearing the good parts, not hearing what actually goes on, who does what, day-to-day basis of those things, which was infuriating. And then been smashed on because of their opinions on that. So it was just the worst person to try to do that. And what killed me is I came up with all these things, and they were all added into these rules. And then, of course, where I was, how I stayed, it just got real messy, as expected, but it was just not good. And it brought a lot of sadness. It was very much a reality of how my siblings feel about me, how they feel that I should be acting, what I deserve, which was really fucked up. But after that conversation, I realized what matters is what my mom says. And what matters is doing what I need to do for myself and my family. And that's what I'm doing moving forward. Yeah. So here's a new background. You probably see a lot. This is like a front-facing window, and it's perfect. Love that coffee lady. But Josh went through 2 jobs here because the first one was at a gas station that seemed great. I had warned him, we have a couple friends that work there, and I had said, it's Trauma Field Center. It's not run the best, but, whatever, at least it's something quick. They hired him quick, basically as soon as we got here. And it turned out not great because after 1 week, it was very quick to find out that he makes you pay things that you mess up, which is illegal in New York City. I don't know if it is federally, but it is illegal, 1,000%. I've had my own business and employees, and I know employees' laws pretty well, but on top of it, I know that that's illegal. And it's his way of being a dad. It's his way of being more responsible, which is even grosser. But let's reveal that. And now he works for someone else who is way more respected in town. Everyone talks about how it's a great job to work at. And I'll be honest, in my heyday in high school, people were begging to work there, but nobody could work because they had all the employees they needed at that time. Now it's kind of polar opposite. They even cut back on their food hours. It's a grocery store, a butchery, and then they have a deli, and food that they serve. And it's a place that's been here for 100 plus years. It's a big part of town. In 4th grade, you do a county project, if you will, of a historical building in the area. Even if it's still not running, you'd like talk about it. And this building is almost regularly talked about in those things. Like, it's just a big part of town, and it's pretty cool for him to be stuck on it. And long term, he has another job. He wants to go back to working. It ended not the best, but not the best in a way that, in my opinion, was emotional on everyone's part. And I do think that it could be changed. It's been a lot of years since that happened, so I think working here would assist him with that. And also the hours would make it so he could work at both. But yeah, I loved that. I felt like it was really in line. And if there's any place to work in my hometown, I personally feel like it'd be that place, to be quite honest, because you have great employees and you have a great boss. And it's so hard to find a great boss. Like, so hard. And he's very good. So I think that's great. I love it. I personally have been, sorry, I just kicked myself, massively struggling to find a job. I have never in my whole entire life ever had this much struggles. To be totally fair, I haven't worked in a few years, and I also have kids, and I don't know if people are like taking that into consideration, but it's been hard, and it's kind of like a mental slap in the face a little bit to myself. I know that comes from a lot of like, my dad's thing was always like, work, do your best at work, always put yourself forward. And so I always did. And when that didn't come forward, I'm like, ugh. So dealing with that, I'm trying to see it as a sign. Something better is going to come, or something magically going to happen here. Or I'm making money. I'm making the steps towards that. I can't lie. It makes it so I want to keep doing this content creating on top of other things that I'm doing. But it's kind of was a little harsh for my soul. But I guess the only way that I'm dealing with it moving forward is just taking online work way more, seriously, to be able to at least get something. I am going, now that we're done moving, I am going to DoorDash when Josh is home. So again, I could just bring something in. We need something. I want to be able to do that. My mom isn't making us pay a whole bunch here, knowing we're trying to save. And luckily we got Josh's D-bag, which was kind of like first thing we're saving for. Next thing we're saving for is a car. So I just want to be able to do that. So like Josh is, like, we both can be contributing to these things, and like, it does make it easier. Babysitting's hard. The only babysitter that I have is literally like 15 minutes here, so I have to have a car to take to her. It is my best friend. But either way, like, it's just things like that. And that's why I'm like, okay, this has got to be a sign, right? This has got to be a sign. But yeah, those are the things that have kind of happened. Moving, jobs, got the e-bike. My twins are starting to walk. They laugh on their own. They're like very much in that toddler baby. Still act like a baby, but very much mentally moving towards toddlerhood and losing their minds, being so smart. You can hear them trying to say words. They do say some words. They can do things cognitively. They problem solve. They can mimic really well. It's very cool. I really love it. And they seem to have adjusted really well. We had maybe like a week or two of sleep, and they were all right. And now I'm transitioning them from one nap to two naps, or from two naps to one nap. Hopefully. I will say it's had one error, which is they wake up after like 30-ish minutes of being in bed, and I think they think it's like a second nap. And they wake up and they're like, holy fuck, I'm exhausted. I'm not ready to wake up. But they lose it, and that overtired, like, colic losing it, which has been strugglesome for someone that dealt with colic for 6 months. But we're working on it. I'm really hoping this transition helps. Today we were able to make a longer wake period during the morning, which is normally the problem. It's our second wake period is long as fuck, and I can't put them to bed at 4. I'm not waking up at 4 a.m. Wow, I did that long enough, okay? I'm not doing that again. 6 a.m. is fine. 4 a.m., not cool. But that's with them. My animals have transitioned really well. My dog's spent tons of time here. It means nothing. He just loves it. We're here too. My cats strictly have to live upstairs because my mom's dog is a fucking savage. As much as she's like the best nanny dog ever, she's the worst at the same time. But it's kind of almost the exact amount of square footage they were allowed to go into at the old place, because they weren't allowed to go into the bedrooms. And as a trailer, they maybe lost like a room, a tiny trailer room that they have. So it hasn't been too bad. There's only a couple of my sister's cats that are allowed to stay out, and they kind of all coexist pretty really well, to be honest with you. And other than what I just explained, I've been doing pretty well. Josh seems to be doing well. Doing really like the same that I am, especially now that this job's happening and this e-bike's happening. He seems to be emotionally a little bit different, but yeah. So that's kind of how we've all transitioned. That's what we're going through. David is, I would say, thriving. The only thing that sucks is his bedroom's upstairs, and it's kind of always been his room, and now all of his stuff's up there. He has a good time, so he has to go upstairs constantly. But that's okay. I don't mind. It's good for us. The bathroom's upstairs only. The cats are up there. It makes an excuse to use the bathroom, check him out, check the cats out. But he really is doing well. They have a rec program in my hometown that's free. I don't know if it's always been free, but it is free, and I love it. And I'm definitely going to be sending him. I love rec programs, especially for homeschool kids. One, it's getting you out of my hair during summertime, so you have things to do, friends to do, socializing, listening to other adults, having a schedule, things like that. I like it. I like it a lot. I am hoping by the end of summer we have a vehicle so that come school time, fall, I'm able to take him to something regularly. If not, I'll just try for second semester. Because by then, we better have a fucking car. I will be murdering someone. But yeah, that's it. That's really all that's happening. I have promised my child I will not get crazy anymore because he's definitely exhausted by my sister and I. Even the 2 or 3 times that we had our moments the first week or two of living here, which is a big slap in the face for my child, but also why I'm trying to get my shit together and why I wanted to leave, because I want to lose my fucking mind. There's a lot of passiveness going on, but it's getting figured out, and I'm not getting talked to directly. It's a middleman. So you know what? Honestly, my mom takes the brunt of it, and it's not okay that that's the situation, but we talked about it, and she said what she says to her to me. I would physically hit her again. Which I don't need, neither does anybody else. So, yeah. And what's funny about the rule thing, it never was printed our side. Yeah. But my middle sibling definitely had an issue with one of my shorts that I shared on here. It's actually shared on my social media. I share my little videos. If it's a minute and under, it gets shared on everything. If it's a minute and over, it gets shared on everything but here. And it was just one of those things with Kendrick Lamar that was talking about my siblings and what I really would want to say to them. And I still feel that way. And it was intensely posted because of this rulemaking process and getting myself to feeling that way. And them, just being like, this is the way you deal with it. And I mean, this isn't like I can't have things in here. This is like forcing 3 beds in 1 bedroom that would have never fit, and forcing my twins to be in a bedroom with us, which we pretty much never done. They slept on us as newborns, and after that we got them to sleep in their room, and it's been like that since. And basically making it so there were 2 full living rooms in this house, even though on another, someone else has moved in here for a medical reason and got this whole room to themselves, locked. That's why it looks the way that it does, is because of this person moving in, which, I mean, they deserve to move in here, and I'm very happy that they did that for them, and I have no issue, but I was viewed differently. My situation was viewed differently, and, I put myself here, so I should just suffer and, fuck me. And it was a lot, and ultimately my mom's decision was, the answer was no. Like, I get this room, I have to share it, which we do. We leave the doors open, we share it, the dogs come in here, and they're allowed to come in here, like, whatever. But I need to be able to close the door. I need to be able to have a place for my stuff. I'm not sharing a bedroom with my twins, unless I'm literally dying. Definitely not for years, especially because, like, this would literally, and we even see it now that we have 2 beds in there, it would have made it so that our beds were entirely, all 3 of them would have been entirely, and they don't fit in a bed with Josh and I, entirely, and they can't really sleep on the same bed anymore. Like, in a week, we're purchasing their second bed, so they're finally in their own beds. But all of our mattresses, not even our beds and bed frames, all of our mattresses, which I had stated I can't sleep on a mattress on the floor. Neither can my husband. With my core stuff going on in his back, it's impossible. Like, it literally, and if I don't have to, I don't want to. And I'm at my mom's. I'm not at some strangers. I'm not, like, I'm at my fucking mom's. And it would have made it so all of our beds were on the floor, on mattresses, up against the longest part of the wall, and it had one single walkway. We would have had to get up, mattresses touching. And I'm not even kidding you. We literally measured the space in between of the bed. And it would have been like shoved, one huge mattress, get up like that. And they claimed that we would have had so much space, all this stuff. And I had cited that there were 2 beds. And they were like, yeah, all of this will work. And then, like, my basic needs would be able to come up here. I'm doing my best here, people. I'm doing my best. And these are 2 rooms that was not really regularly used. Like, this was mainly my kids' living room. It was just my oldest sibling used it as her living room and space to chill versus the garage and her bedroom. And still chill here. I don't know. But either way, it got figured out. And because of that whole thing, my sibling, of course, got shared that. One of her friends saw it and shared it with her. And as it's happened before, anytime she finds out something about her, true or not, gets told on the internet by me, and one of her friends shares it. It's not that she finds it. It's one of her friends shares it to her. She is so embarrassed of the process of a person that knows her finds this on the internet, knowing I'm her sibling, knowing I'm talking about her, and shares it to her, and just like completely loses her mind. And I just shut down. I said, I'm not sorry for that. That's how I felt. Did not specifically say your name. It did not tag you. You are clearly upset, and that's fine. I'm sorry I hurt you, but that's exactly how I feel. It's my social media. It's my outlet. I'm not going to stop things because of you. I'm not sharing any personal information about you. There's really no harm in it. Went on for messages. I don't even remember what was said. And basically just said to my mom, like, she's completely done with me and doesn't want anything to do with me. And it just makes me laugh because that's how I felt for years. As much as she's pretended to be my friend, as much as she's pretended to be there. The only reason these guys actually started to kind of come back into a play into my life, my siblings, was because of the twins. My twins' pregnancy, and even then, they didn't really talk to me then. It was really the twins being born. And they care for my kids a lot, and I will never deny that. And they've helped my kids a ton, and I appreciate that constantly. But to my sibling, helping my kids is helping me. We're a whole package deal. It wasn't like bills were paid. It wasn't like, going out of our way to babysit. It was, I'll get you a diaper here, I'll get you a diaper there. I'll, try to come help you during postpartum. My other sibling and my mom helped me tons with the postpartum. My other sibling also helps me tons with watching my kids. And I still have limited access for these things. I still have to go seek a babysitter, and I'm not saying that that's on them, but the truth of it was the sibling actually got embarrassed that somebody knows them. Now, if I could actually have the 2 seconds to explain to my sibling, or maybe that friend will find this video and share it. I think I know who you are. You're doing very good at causing shit, by the way. You should watch all of my videos. I talk a lot of shit about my family. Anywho, a majority of people that know me, besides my oldest friends, not my new besties, they sorta know. They know I have 2 siblings. They know they're older. They know I have a strugglesome relationship. They don't know who they are. They would never know their name. They would never remember, maybe remember the look of the face. But that's about it. They've never really been a part of my life. And not like that anyways. And no one knows. No one would be able to pick her out and say, oh my God, I know exactly what you're doing with your sibling. I know it's you. I know you're the one that hurts Gabby. No. The embarrassment was that a friend found it. And the friend knows them. And the friend knows me. And the friend obviously probably was one of our best friends. Guaranteed. Because they're normally the person that finds these things. And they're normally the person that does these things. And truth be told, you're causing so much shit that's not necessary. Like, that wasn't me going, this is her name, she's a piece of shit. No, it was what I wanted to say to my unhealed siblings, being the the only person that's trying to heal myself and a cycle breaker, and you guys are still trying to look down on me, is, the little verse from Kendrick Lamar that was going around. Hate the way that you talk, the way that you look, the way that you walk. If I have an issue, I'll say it to you direct. I felt like they just wanted the last word of it, even though I felt this way forever. I mean, I've literally, everyone that knows me, that's close to me, knows I have zero relationship with my siblings. I don't have a good relationship with my parents. I don't talk to them about things. I literally use my best friends as a sounding board because sure, they'll be there for me in emergency situations, and I totally respect and appreciate and love that. And glad that my family and I don't need to be on the streets right now. I've had help financially from my mom a lot. There's been advice given to me from my mom, not so much from my siblings. Got me diapers, like I said, here and there, allowed me to use their boat, maybe defended me once. The other one watches my kids. Again, things I'm all very grateful for. I don't take advantage of any of them. But I'm not going to deny the pain that you've caused me, the fact that we don't have a relationship, and the fact that you're in denial of so much. And it genuinely affects me a lot. They will never not see me as the 16-year-old craving help, in dire need of it. They'll never see why I act the way that I do. They'll never, understand my mental disorder. Never go to therapy with me. Refuses, in fact. So why try? Why care? And I finally am starting to truthfully mean I don't. There's no point. I'll stay civil for the sake of my children because they genuinely try to stay in their lives and try to understand them and love them dearly, and I do respect and understand that, and I appreciate that from them greatly. But, and big but, that doesn't mean I need to have a relationship with you. That doesn't mean I need to do anything. Period. And I won't. And I'm not gonna. And what kills me is they think this comes from just me. It's also my therapist. But yeah, that's really what's gone on. I know this was a really longer one, but I swear it's because it had been so long catching up. But that's really what's happening. Nothing too intense. Well, yes, it was a little intense for a minute. Now it's not, because I'm like totally in a different headspace. I'm back in my like get shit together headspace. Yeah. So support me, okay? Support me online in any way, please. I need to get extra money. Also, DoorDashing in the hometown that I'm in will make me lots of money. There is never a fucking driver in this area. There's got to be like 2, I swear to God. So that's also a wake-up call, is I thought my old place that I lived was hard, but I forgot that it actually seemed easy when I moved there because so much was available. It was just after a certain time they weren't, which in the city is not like that. And we live like, hour and a half from the city, and there you can get stuff all the fucking time and you always have a driver. Here you don't. So that's okay though. Gives me an opportunity for myself, and also make up my own hours, works way better. Can use my mom's car. But yeah, that's it. I'll keep you updated. I'm going to actually do weekly updates. And back to random talks. Will it be slow? Of course. I'm going to do my best? Yes. I also have a camera that I'm able to use. I think I need to get batteries for it first. I'm going to see if it, I think, has a video. I'm going to test out a little video. If you see a weird random video, no, that's what it's for. And see if it works. Because if it does, I'm going to use it while I'm here, because it's my mom's and she never uses it. So I'll use it until I'm able to purchase my own. But until then, thanks for being here. Thanks for listening to me ramble. And if you care about what I'm doing, thanks. I love you. Have a wonderful day.